So I'm going to be cutting off the old tip from my Q-Tech shaft here. This shaft is actually 13.2 millimeters. Our milk dud is a little bit more. It's actually more like 14.5, so we have a lot of room to play with. So here we're just going to use a razor to cut off the old tip. Just got to be careful not to cut the ferrule. This is what I kind of do. I just kind of roll it, let the razor blade do its thing until we're in the middle. There we go. So there's the old tip. Material left from the old tip. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and take sandpaper and sand this down a little bit. See, what I'm doing behind here is I'm just wrapping the sandpaper just around my finger just like that, and I'm kind of just pressing the shaft right against, and I'm just turning. Give a little most of it off. There's just a little bit here. Some people like to leave a little bit of the old tip on, like just a very thin layer, just so they have something to glue on. Me, I like to take off most of it, and I'd like to just try rough up the surface just so the glue adheres better. And you want to make sure it's clean. Then what I like to do is just grab some sandpaper, and then for the glue side, kind of just want to rough that up a little bit. I'm not using anything special. I'm just using just regular super glue. Seems to do the job. I've glued on my other tips and they seem to hold. What I'm going to do is just give a little dab on this tip here. So now I'm going to just lightly just try and get it on there as quick as I can. Make sure it's center. It's already on there pretty good. Now we're just going to just kind of just press it into place, and hopefully it's as center as possible. Right here it's pretty good actually. So if you don't have one of these tools, I personally don't like using these. My trick is just to grab a pillow and then, you know, just kind of just wedge it under the table. So yeah, just like that. If you don't have a clamp like this, you can just do this, grab a pillow and just wedge it under the table. Now we're gonna let it dry for a bit, take it off, and we'll start shaping the tip. Now what we're gonna do is just gonna cut the excess off. See here, try to get a good view at it. Right there. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and trim the excess off. Take a razor, angle it like that. I put the flat side of the razor flush against my ferrule, and I kind of just go like that. And then I just use my thumb, go all the way around. It takes a bit of time, but you just keep working at it. Just keep going in circles, keep rotating the shaft. Let's try to get a close-up of what I'm doing here. It does take a bit of time doing it with the razor blade, but I don't have a lathe and I'm not going to send this out. No one has ever showed me how to do this. I kind of just learned and experimented on my own. And this is how I do it, and it seems to be working great for me. We mostly have it trimmed down. It actually looks really good. Okay, right here are some tip tools that I'm going to be using. Here's one with sandpaper. I bought this one off Wish. It's very cheap. For replacing these, what I like to do is just buy some sandpaper, line this up, and just trace it out and just cut it out. It doesn't have to be super accurate. Then you can cut as much pieces as you want, and you have an unlimited supply of sandpaper. And there, that just slides in just like that. Now, start sanding the tip. So when I was pressing the milk dud, it seemed to have really glazed the tip here, so we just want to just go ahead and sand that off. Gradually turn the shaft as you're sanding. Some little areas, they are still kind of smooth at the edge, so you're just going to go ahead and sand those off. I'm going at a 90. Now I'm just slightly going to be turning it just so I can get at those edges better. And same thing, you're just going to slowly rotate your shaft as you're going. So in my Q case, I like to keep quarters, nickels, and dimes. For the tip shape, I like to go by a dime on my plain Q. So we're just gonna go ahead and try eyeball it. Now it's not quite there yet, so we're gonna have to do a lot more sanding just to give it that shape. The reason why I don't like using this right away is because these aren't cheap. They are around 30 bucks just for one of these. And from experience, these like to wear out, and then you're looking at buying a new one. Sandpaper is more cheap, and you can go out and buy a sheet and you'll have an unlimited supply of sandpaper. So I'd rather do that than wear this out. To To give it that shape, I want to angle it more just so I get more of that hemispherical shape. See, it's slowly taking shape and it looks really good. We're at the shape of a nickel. I want to keep sanding just to get more of a dime shape. It doesn't have to be exact, it's pretty damn close. I might even just about not even sand no more. So now, this is when I like to use it. This is the Q-Tech bow tie. I bought this off of Amazon. So you have shape, scuff, and also this here. These are a bunch of little needles. You just kind of poke at the tip. What this part does, it just makes a bunch of little holes so the tip starts to accept the chalk better. So we have a shape side and a scuff side. Now we want to use the shape side. What you do is just kind of just press and turn. I like to go back and forth and just keep rotating the shaft as well. It's very rough. That's almost what we want, and this thing will absorb a lot of chalk just as is. Now we just want to maybe just smooth it out just a little bit. There we go. I think I'm done shaping for now. If I need to shape it some more, I can do that during when I'm practicing or playing. Scuff it out a bit. Keep my coins handy in my bag. And I keep this handy all the time in my bag. I seat my sandpaper like this, right against my finger. And then I kind of lay the tip on it and I just slowly rotate. You don't want to start catching your ferrule on it. You don't want to scratch up your ferrule. You just want to just kind of keep the tip on the sandpaper. Yeah, this is probably the most difficult part of the whole process. So for me, this is good enough, the best I can do right now. So now for burnishing the sides here, there's a lot of ways you can do it. Some people use wax, some people use a piece of leather. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to use my wallet and just use a little bit of spit. A little bit of your spit. Looks really good, I would say. I like to use Masters and also Predator 1080. I typically like both. I switch it up every once in a while. They almost both feel the same to me, I will be honest. That's my opinion anyways. So now it's ready for claying. And here's the result.